Welcome to the Ripple Effect Podcast. I'm your host, Steve Harper, and today I'm interviewing someone that I have long held in high regard.
It's taught me that being an entrepreneur is, I think, the biggest gift we as Americans have. I believe so strongly in the entrepreneurial process, in how it grows us, how we learn to lead ourselves.
She is a mover, a shaker, one hell of an entrepreneur. And what I actually loved about this interview is she doesn't actually even talk about her business. She talks about what it takes to be an entrepreneur, what her journey has revealed to her. It's not a pitch. It's not a promotion. In fact, I think she really wanted it that way. And so I didn't really press and be like, hey, tell us about your business, because we had such an amazing conversation, such a just true nuggets that are dropped by my guest today, which her name is Natalie Bevacqua. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. It's an unusual name. She said people say it all different ways. Bevacqua just kind of rolls off my tongue. But Natalie is someone that I've known back to her days in Austin. She was introduced through a mutual friend, and I was just in awe. The power and the command she had of every room that she walked into, not just because she's a very beautiful woman, but because she exudes a sense of confidence. And what really impressed me was that way back when she brought me in to speak at an event, and we met for coffee afterwards, and I was really a young pup. I was really insecure, and I was hopeful that I had delivered and done what they had asked me to do. And she said, "You did a great job." And she could tell there was like relief, right? And she was like, I feel like you didn't feel like you did a good job. And I said, no, it's just, I have massive anxiety when it comes to these things. It was early days. I still have massive anxiety. That never goes away. But, I'm very shy and insecure and introverted. And so I just wanted to do a really good job because this was an important opportunity for me. It was an opportunity, to showcase my skills and my abilities. But yeah, I never feel great about it, even when it goes well. And she was let me in on a little secret. She has the same thing. It was imposter syndrome. And at that moment, like all of this, like I put her up on a pedestal, like she is awesome. All of a sudden it was just like, boom, we were back. Two people, insecure, worried that people are going to find out, and all of the things, right? And that just flowed and our conversation just happened. And I feel like our connection and our relationship really started that day. And it was awesome. I've never forgot it. It meant something to me. It's one of those milestone moments for me that have made a huge, huge difference. And I just remember her saying, all I've got is me. I just get up and do what I need to do and hope they don't figure it out. Something to that effect. And I've used that so many times. And so it has been a long time coming, but this episode is something that I am really, really excited for you to listen to because she is such a fantastic, amazing woman. And I just love her humbleness and I love her authenticity. I love her power and her confidence, which does come through in this interview in a big, big way. She's gone through some stuff over the last number of years and has come back bigger, stronger, better for it. And I can't wait for you to meet Natalie Bevacqua. There, I got it. Nailed it. Boom. Let's dive in. Guys, I'm super excited to be joined by a longtime friend and an amazing Rippler, Natalie Bevacqua. Natalie, welcome to the Ripple Effect Podcast. How are you doing?
Thanks, Steve. Gosh, I know it's been a journey. It's
It
been a
has.
long time that we've known each other. I was thinking about that this morning. I'm
I
doing
was
really
telling
great.
somebody that yesterday, just in preparation for this interview, that you and I met way back in 2000, at the end of 2005, and then you had me speak, I think, for an event in 2006, but we came in contact because of our mutual friend, Allison Stone. And just to think how many years that's been and to see your journey as an entrepreneur and all the opportunities that have come your way, I'm just super grateful and super proud to call you a friend. So thanks for being here. I'm just excited.
Oh, Steve, I'm excited too. Yeah, I was thinking about that, and you got the date because I was like, when was this a prior lifetime?
How'd this guy come into my life?
Not
I
that
don't
old.
remember.
We're not that old, Steve. Okay.
I don't know what it is. It seems like it's a long time, but somehow you keep aging backwards and I keep aging
I
in the
don't
wrong
know about
direction. So,
that. I don't know about that.
well, when we
Uh,
first met, you were in Austin and now you live elsewhere. Where do you call home now?
I'm in Oregon. I'm
Okay.
in the Pacific Northwest, in a pretty little suburb, beautiful suburb. The sun is trying to peek out today. And yeah, a little suburb outside of Portland.
Okay.
It's
And
been a huge change
I bet.
from Austin with weather, and it's beautiful though here. It's beautiful.
What was it that inspired you to move to the Pacific Northwest, which, by the way, is absolutely gorgeous and breathtaking on so many levels, but you don't get as much sun as you were accustomed to in Austin, right?
No, and we're just getting into that season right now, and I'm learning to embrace. I've never lived somewhere where the seasons change like
Yep.
this, and it is beautiful. So learning to kind of go with the seasons because life has seasons. So moving here, I moved here at 50. It was part of my reinvention story.
Yep.
I met my current husband, and he works for the government here. He works for the fire department here, and that's what brought me here. That's what brought me here.
And
Yeah, and
what
part
is
of
it
my
that you've learned since you moved there? Like what, so vastly different from Austin, but when you talk about the reinvention, we'll dive into that for a second, but just the environment shift, what did that bring to you in terms of how sort of revitalized kind of, what you felt as a person, because it is like kind of not only a reinvention but a brand new start over in so many ways.
well, gosh, I don't think I knew at the time what a starting over it would be. It's one thing moving. I had relocated from Southern California with my son's dad, who's now 27, can't believe it, or will be 27 in January, from Southern California, but we relocated to Austin in our 20s. We were starting a family. It was a young, vibrant place to move to and
Yep.
be. Relocating at 50 to a place where I literally did not know a soul, one person here. Well, that's not true. I knew my
Knew
husband.
one person.
Literally one person. And moving in midlife is very different. Very different. And after COVID, it has caused me to go back to some core things that I knew about myself that helped me in growing my business, that helped me building community, getting out of my comfort zone and meeting people, not hibernating like we want to do here in the weather, like a bear. Bears hibernate, people don't.
Yeah.
Anyways, so yeah, that's a little, I mean, I'm happy to dive deeper depending on the direction you want to go, but that's, it's given me an opportunity, and I'm not going to claim it's been easy to build a whole new community here of people, a whole
Yeah.
new, yeah.
Well, the one thing I know about you is you've never met a stranger, and the thing that I always was impressed by with you is just how, I mean, you went to kind of a dark, cloudy kind of place, right, in terms of living, and I could see you being the bright sunshine that people are like, where has this woman been my entire life? Because you have such an energy and an enthusiasm, not just for the business that you have, but also just for life in general. And the one thing that always impressed me was just the spark that you bring into the world and the way that you really impact people. I know Allison and I talked about it at one point that you could walk into a room of strangers and they were friends by the time you left, that room. And I can imagine, even though you might struggle with that, thinking about how do you build your community or kind of how do you start from, scratch. My guess is that you had an unfair advantage in actually building that new community because you're so great at it.
Oh gosh. That's so kind, Steve. It is a gift of mine, and I've learned to embrace it. I've learned to thank God that I have that and um, use it in a way that really fosters that connection, learning, as we grow and evolve and hopefully age brings wisdom, that we meet people for a reason and we connect with people for a reason. Some connections are going to be longer than others in our lives, and I'm grateful ours has been that. And yeah, letting myself really embrace that gift and meet people and learn to get to know people. I genuinely love to do that. It's truly something I love to do. Um, that's not necessarily hard, although it is harder. It
Yeah.
is harder. I think I've gotten a tad bit more introverted or maybe just more discriminative with my time. Maybe
Yeah.
that's it.
Yeah.
Which you probably can relate to. We
Yeah.
only have so much time, so much energy. So, more discerning with that. But these years, that we've known each other, my belief and just ferociousness, I don't know if that's the word, but around the importance of building a strong foundation of people and
Yeah.
community has just gotten stronger. That
Ha-
belief.
Have you found because you sort of made this transition that it gave you permission to do it a little bit differently? It sounds like, obviously, like you said, being a little more discriminatory towards your time and investment in the right people, and maybe not necessarily doing it the way you've always done it, but having that opportunity to sort of reinvent not only the community, but your approach to how you build it. Do you find that getting that opportunity to kind of push the do-over and start from scratch in a new community really helped prompt that, or was it something that you were already kind of primed to do? It wouldn't matter of where you ended up. It was you were just kind of ready for that. Because the reason I ask that is I find that with a lot of people when I talk about connecting, there is something that happens. I think when we hit our 50s and we change our approaches and our attitudes about a lot of things. It's kind of like how and what worked in our 30s and our 40s or as young business owners, some of that stuff just doesn't feel as genuine or as authentic, and it gives us an opportunity to say like, okay, how would I do it now if I have the opportunity? And you had one of those great opportunities to say like, well, hey, I'm moving to a place that I don't know anybody, but I don't need to know everybody.
Gosh, I don't know if I would have done it everywhere the same way. I did purposefully start to build community that was different from my husband. So I've always loved health, and that's evolved and
Yeah.
intensified even more since we met because of my health journey. Um, so I became a member of a small boutique fitness studio here and really immersed myself in that community. And so that's been part of it. Not the traditional ways that I may have gone about building my business. I've always built relationships, but maybe where I would go out and do more formal networking in that setting. I haven't
Yeah.
done as much of that
Yeah.
here. I haven't done as much of that. I've done more connecting, starting at the connection point and then building the business from that, if that
I
makes
love that.
sense.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I think there's some value, obviously, in sort of having that opportunity to say, "Hey, I'm going to do it differently than I did it before." There's that refreshness, and it provides to me a little bit more richness, right, in terms of conversation, in terms of connection, and really where you could take a business relationship. I think one of the struggles you have, especially as an early on entrepreneur, is like anybody and everybody could potentially be a prospect, and so everybody kind of gets filtered through that lens and you miss a lot of genuine opportunities. And I think, like you said, kind of age and wisdom sort of resets like, the business is one thing and it's always going to sort of be there. And if that evolves, great, fantastic, but if it doesn't, I might be robbing myself of a really genuine conversation here, or a really cool, authentic connection, or a potentially great friendship, right?
Yeah, yeah. And I think that approach, it really becomes a lens, a lens, I think about how I met Allison. Now,
Yeah.
ironically, I met Allison at a networking group. Um, and we became fast friends,
Yep.
though. And we're in business together for a while. We're not anymore. We're still friends, though,
Yep.
So it's kind of been this, yeah, it's interesting, but yeah, that, and I think the way people, at least I believe this, and the people that I work with and have relationships with, people are really savvy and cut through the BS, and
Yeah.
there's a lot of that out there.
Yeah.
So,
So definitely.
and the traditional belly to belly, real connection, I think is never ever going to go away.
Yeah.
At least I hope it doesn't.
Yeah.
It'll change, but never go away.
Well, with people like you out there, it will at least, I think if you and I are still committed to doing it, there are at least two people that are fighting the good fight against doing it the way everybody else wants to do it. Hey, Ripplers, before we jump back in, I want to take a quick moment to share two ways you can go even deeper with us. First, if you're enjoying this podcast, you'll love our paid subscription offers on both Substack and Patreon. That is where you'll get exclusive content, behind the scenes insights, and extra resources about connections and relationships that you won't read anywhere else, plus a few little other ditties. It's a great way to support the show and stay connected between episodes. And let's be honest, if you're craving something even more immersive, and who isn't, check out our Connect and Grow Ripple coaching program. Man, this is a full year of coaching, content, and community designed to help you become a more engaged connector and leader in both life and business. I love this program. I think you will too. You'll join a vibrant community of like-minded Ripplers to gain access to master classes led by dynamic experts, including me, attend live workshops, group coaching sessions, and get the accountability and actionable strategies you need to build more meaningful relationships to create an even bigger ripple effect out there in the world, which who doesn't want that? You can find the links in the show notes to sign up today. Hope to see you over there. Ripple on. Thinking about that, right? One of the things I'm curious because, having known you as long as I have, when you think back, to the entrepreneur you were 15, 20 years ago, right? Or when you started in, the particular line of business that you're in, what advice would the current Natalie give young Natalie to have maybe changed some things, throughout the course of the next 20 years?
Gosh, Steve. Oh, wow. I could say a lot of things. That could be a long list. Gosh, what a great question. One would be, and a lot of this will overlap from business and life because I
Yeah.
think they overlap, is take risks, trust yourself, be bold, be honest, be direct and straightforward about what you want. Listen. Don't worry so much about what people think. I took a pretty unconventional path in business,
Yeah.
and I dealt with that a lot. And I had a lot of critics, so not worrying so much about what people think, that's been a life lesson for me. Because ultimately we come into this world alone and we leave this world, alone. And so it's us.
Yeah.
We got to be able to look in the mirror and feel good about how we've done things. Yeah, so those are a few.
I think that's beautiful. I mean, everything that you just said is fantastic. What I could tell you from an outsider's perspective, right, was I would never have ever had you pegged as someone that worried about what other people thought. But I think there's a huge lesson there because I think we often, the ones that, we look at in our networks or in our close relationships, we feel like they have it all figured out. And all of us are just simply scared, right? Like we're all trying to navigate the nuances of life, and that imposter syndrome and that sort of judgment that we think that people have over us and what we do. You and I, really, I think, identify with that because we've had a lot of people that have told us why we shouldn't do what we do, or we have a lot of people that have, doubted the potential for our success. And that works on your psyche after a period of time, right? And I love the fact that you would give that advice, like, hey, continue, because I would have similar advice for the younger version of myself is, everybody else's opinion really is none of my business, right? Focus on you and focus on what you know and your commitment, and don't ever get off the path just to accommodate or sort of adhere to somebody else's set of expectations.
Yeah.
But you handle that stuff very, very well. I think you and I had a conversation. I actually remember we had coffee at a coffee shop that no longer exists in Austin, but we had a really frank conversation because I was so enamored with how absolutely stunningly in command you were when you would get up, like at a conference event, and you would speak. You were such a gifted speaker and so much power and authority. And I mentioned that to you at one point because it really impressed me. And I remember you saying something to me like, really? Like, I can't believe, I can't believe that you see that or think that. And you're like, I'm scared, all the time when I get up there. And I'm like, I'm scared. Like, and you were like, how do you? And we were like, well, I mean, it wasn't that we were faking it till we make it. We brought our genuine abilities to the stage, right? Or to the, to the audience that we might be speaking with. But it was funny how you and I both had these same like things that were just clawing at us in the background. And I think that's how I just knew you were different. And I really want to be friends with this person because you sort of identified and understood what I was going through, and I understood what you were going through, but neither of us saw it in one another, which I think was good because it sounds like we did an okay job. But it is funny how much of that judgment parlays back into our younger versions of self that we were trying to, we were just doing the best we could to hold on, but people thought we might have it together, but, we were still scared every time we, took the opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about your entrepreneurial journey and then what it has taught you to help you become the kind of entrepreneur you are today.
Oh gosh. Well, I've been an entrepreneur since my 20s, and now I know you mentioned 50s. So it's been a long process.
Which people are going to see this
And
and they're going to be like, no, no way she's in her 50s. I'm just going to, yeah.
yes, I am. Steve, I think it was one of those when I started, I didn't know what I didn't know.
Yeah.
And I had such a hunger for, at the time when I started my business, my son was really little. He was only 2. And I so badly did not want to be put in a box of, I've got to go to do, then work was very different. We went
Yeah.
to places and buildings, and, I know some people do that today, but it was different. I wanted the flexibility. I wanted to be able to be an active part in his life and go to the school things and be the room mom, and as much as I could balance, learning that I don't know that that exists. So it's taught me that being an entrepreneur is, I think, the biggest gift we as Americans have. I believe so strongly in the entrepreneurial process, in how it grows us, how we learn to lead ourselves, lead our day. I look at the ways, because no one plans our day, no one tells us how to plan our day. How we learn to build relationships with other people, how we learn to make shifts when we need to make shifts, how we react and respond to external things that happen. My business has had highs, it's had lows, and how we deal with that.
Yeah.
How we deal with that change and evolution and evolve. Learn to evolve with the times. It's not easy, and I wouldn't change a thing about it. I wouldn't change a thing about it. I mean, I love it. I love the challenge. I love the daily, in some ways, my days look similar, and in some ways, every day is a little different. Like an
Yeah.
interview today is not a typical thing for me at 8:30 in the morning. So here, I know I
Thanks for
looked at
getting
the
up
clock.
early, by the way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we did schedule this at 8:30. Okay, I'm a morning person, thank
Yeah.
goodness. So yeah, I mean, I don't know that I really directly answered your question, but I think there's so many people that, and now, I mean, with social media and with technology, there's so many entrepreneurial options out
Yeah.
there for people. And I say take the risk and learn because we learn so much. And there's mentors. I've always been willing to ask people, like you, ask people. I've had people come to me that are looking at starting a business. Maybe they're looking at real estate or and ask questions. If you have that in you to want to do something, explore that. Because a lot
Yeah.
of things can be done, it doesn't mean you have to give up your day job,
Yeah.
to do it. Because it's a process of personal growth, I think, um, and learning about ourselves that I don't think we can find somewhere else.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I love how you said that. I mean, the business approach that you took for, the direction that you went, right, was because of a lot of flexibility. But I've seen you help a lot of women achieve their dreams that they never thought possible, right? And we know a few that, have worked with you in Austin that have gone off and done amazing things. And that was their springboard to like so many other opportunities. But at the end of the day, they needed somebody like you to believe in them and to support them and guide them to show them, the path forward and what the potential was. Didn't mean that it was going to be easy, because entrepreneurship is not. And like you said, the value of being an entrepreneur is that we get to kind of control what we do day to day, but doesn't mean that you don't have to do the thing, right? Whatever the thing might be, you still got to show up and perform. And really the only judge and jury about whether you're being successful at it is you, because you're the one that determines your level of success. And what I always was impressed with you about was the fact that you really helped people see the possibility of what they could do and where they could take them, their career and take themselves, but that you could find other means of building a life for yourself and a financially viable opportunity long term, simply by looking a little bit different path than what the traditional 9 to 5, 8 to 5, 7 to 5, whatever
Yeah.
that particular role might be, and be able to believe in yourself and lay some bets. And I loved how you always, sort of explain that to people. It's like, hey, look, this doesn't have to be your full-time job. It's not, don't quit what you have, right? But use that paycheck as your capital raise, right? Use that as your seed funding and work on something on the side until you feel like you can sustain it, and then you can move forward. And I always loved the approach and the direction that you had, because I think that when people saw you and saw what you were doing, and I mean, look at what you've done throughout your career, you're a testament to what entrepreneurship and hard work and commitment, not just to whatever a product or service might be, but really by believing in yourself, because you are the product really at the end of the day. And so I think you've really inspired and created a lot of positive ripples for so many along the way, which, aside from what you've accomplished success wise, that has to feel like the most amazing, payoff, the ROI for you in terms of what you've done with your career.
Oh, Steve, it absolutely, absolutely. It's funny as you say that. I mean, I still have that feeling of like, yeah, I guess I have. You're right. And it's that thinking. As you were talking, I was kind of thinking back to the people over the years that I have worked with, and that now, yeah, and are doing, maybe doing other things. Some aren't.
Yeah.
Some are, to some capacity, are still with me. Um, I think we all want to make a difference in some way.
Yeah.
I think everyone has that need to know that their life has meaning and purpose. And if we can figure out how to do that in our career, what a gift. Some people don't have that as much, and that's okay. Um, and then do that and
Yeah.
and do it well and get up. That is still to this day a driving factor for me when I have conversations is without even realizing it now, it's that unconscious just helping people see that if they're in a situation that they're not happy in, or if they're going through a health challenge, or they just need to have a conversation and have coffee with someone that I might
Yep.
never see that person again.
Yep.
I don't know at the
Yep.
time, but something that helps them see that they can if they want to create something with their life,
Yeah.
and that's I've been fortunate to be able to do that, and some women, have wanted to be part of that with me and learn to grow to be able to kind of how does that look like,
Yeah.
more like how does that look, not so esoterically, but
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, oh gosh, I mean, it's huge. And the people that have done that for me, like the people, I have so many people that I could get emotional think that like their lives have impacted me greatly.
Yeah.
And what a gift.
Yeah, totally. I mean, when you think about the people that have impacted you, like you said, it does, I go through this exercise on a regular basis. Like when I'm feeling like a little down or, I'm struggling with something, I mean, one of the best ways to get back into a sense of gratitude is to think about everybody who stepped up to the plate to help you at certain points of your life. And when you really kind of do a deep dive, and you allow your mind to sort of just wander in your imagination to sort of recreate and remember those situations, it becomes such a huge state changer. And that's powerful in its own right. But then when you go back and be like, okay, who have I been, who have I done that for, right? Have I been that person? And when you think about all of the litany of people that have crossed your path in life, like you said, it could be a one-time conversation, but you inspired that person to take the first step to do something, or somebody that, went from a coffee to a genuine business connection or a friendship, all because, you showed up just to be there, to be of service, to say, hey, this may or may not be a right opportunity for you, or you may or may not be cut out or, necessarily destined to be an entrepreneur. But if I can leave you with one little bit of inspiration, if I can leave you with some insight and motivation that's helped me or served me in some capacity, that too is a gift. And you think about those things on both sides. That's how I think people, really start to balance the scales for themselves. It's not only the people that came before them that impacted their lives, but also the people when you take stock of everybody that you've made a commitment to make a difference for, whether it's, just a moment of time or over the course of a friendship or business relationship, I think is really important. It's almost holiday time, and one of the best gifts that you could possibly buy your friends, your family, your employees, your coworkers, or maybe just random strangers you want to just hand out awesome stuff. This book right here makes it excellent gift. I can personalize it for you. I've got quantity discounts. If you reach out to me, I can talk to you about that. If you go to ripplecentral.com and head on over to the shop, you'll see how affordable this amazing, life-changing, career-changing book can be for you to give as a gift. Little bow on top of this thing, and you're like, hey, let me cast a stone. Let me create some ripples. Let's do it. Ho, 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 in the holiday spirit. Let's get people rippling in the upcoming holiday season. The Ripple Effect, Maximizing the Power of Relationships for Your Life and Business, the third edition by yours truly, Steve Harper, available exclusively at ripplecentral.com. Technically, that's not true. You could get it at Amazon, but those guys keep tearing up my inventory. Like literally, I send them the books and then they tear them up and then they send them back and they want me to send them new books. Don't like that. Big corporate, big box BS going on over there. Just go to ripplecentral.com. I will ship it directly to you. No bows included, because you don't want my bows. They're no good. They don't look good at all. Third graders probably do better bows than me. But the book, awesome, and makes an excellent gift. Holiday gift. It's almost that time, my friends. The ripple effect and some of our other things in the shop might just tickle your fancy to give as a gift this holiday season. Where do you want to go now as an entrepreneur? Because as like we said, we're by the way, if we're in our 50s, then it's the new 30s. So that's what we're saying anyway.
Oh
But
my God, thank God.
yeah. What does the next 5-10 years look like for you as an entrepreneur, and what do you want to do with that power?
Oh, Steve. Right now, learning how, I'm in some ways feel like I've started over, well, I have started over here, but business wise, some of the stuff is I've gone back to some basics
Yeah.
of, the tried and true basics of what I did to start, because I'm building a whole new, team here and it's taken time and clients, and I have embraced writing. I love to write. So I do see maybe some more writing in my
Yeah.
future as a communication tool. It's something I fell into kind of by accident. I journaled my journey through breast cancer on a private, pretty small Facebook group. And I did it. I started out doing it to communicate because I was texting people, that genuinely wanted to know what I was going through and how I was doing. And it became a communication tool of just logistics, and it selfishly became my healing,
Yeah.
like my healing journey. And I learned how much I can heal and grow through writing. So, writing, possibly a book, I don't know. I'm not tied to that. Um, and then just embracing technology. Oh my goodness, the love-hate relationship with technology. Learning the things that we're learning with AI, social media, I'm trying not to get too sucked into some of it. And yeah, those are, primarily a few.
Yeah. And none of that is small, right? At the end of the day, those are some big things to tackle, which, creates evergreen for opportunity, right? It's growth, it's experience, it's, finding new ways to communicate and build your message, build your audience, build your community, I think is phenomenal. I love that. I think, the thing that I really admire about you is you have this stick-to-itiveness, right? And, obviously you've gone through some stuff, making these transitions, going through the health, situation that you did, and you come out fighting. The thing I want to encourage people, and I'll ask you here to share this, but your Instagram, how you've documented, I think you actually, if you went a different direction with your business, you would be one of these super creators, because you're so, fun to watch. You're open and honest about your journey and your story that you share, and your commitment to helping inspire or make somebody's day just a little bit better, even out into this social atmosphere that can often be difficult to find positive content and information. You do a really good job of that. Tell people how they can follow you on Instagram, just so we can make sure they include that in the show notes.
Oh, Steve, it's my name, my long last name. Natalie, it's just Natalie Bevacqua. Um, and yeah, you can look at the spelling of my name. I don't need to spell it, but
Yep.
it's just my first and last name together. I think there
Perfect.
might be a space in between. Yeah,
We'll,
yeah.
we'll we'll put a post up, or we'll put a link up so that everybody knows where to follow you. But I would encourage everybody that's either hearing this on the podcast platforms or seeing this on YouTube, to definitely follow Natalie, because she is a whole lot of fun. She does a great job. Let me, I could talk to you all day, because you are
I
just
know
such
you
an
could.
amazing, inspiring person. But yeah, I always like to finish these interviews up with a few ripple connection questions, right? Some specific
Okay.
questions to give people just a little bit more insight about who you are. But if you weren't doing what you're doing today from a business perspective, and you could start any other business as an entrepreneur, what might you dive into and try?
I think it probably would be a writer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it probably would be that. Yeah.
You'd be excellent at it. There is no doubt. So I think you should just lay down the gauntlet right now and say you're going to write a book. I mean, I'm just saying.
Oh my gosh.
I did this for another interview that I gave earlier this year, which, by the way, you would love this woman. She's in Utah, but
Okay.
Sophie is an artist and just an amazing little buzzsaw of energy. But
I'm
she
write
had
it
told
down.
me about this book, and she's like, "Yeah, but it's like way, down the road." And then we brought it up during the interview and made her commit to it right there. And she just
Oh, I need to
finished the
meet
final
her.
edits. So her
I
book's going to
need to
be out
meet her.
next year. So
Oh, awesome.
maybe that'll be the
Yeah,
encouragement you need to just start doing it. But I think you'd be excellent at
maybe.
it. When you think of entrepreneurship, think of it through the lens of the people that you serve for your business. What's the one word you would want them to think about entrepreneurship? Like what word does it mean to you?
Growth.
I love that. How has it manifested for you in terms of growth?
I mean, Steve, in my particular situation, being in my 20s when I started, it's been such a vital part of my life that it's I am who I am, all the good, the bad, the everything because of it. So growth, yeah, I mean, growing, giving me a platform and, to grow,
Yeah.
to become, to still grow, to still have mentors that are willing to, they may ask, are you okay with me telling you what I feel like I want to tell you? Like,
That you may
that's
not
a
want to
loaded
hear at that particular
question.
moment. Yeah.
Yeah. Though, but having coaches and people that are willing to say the hard things, and that's how we grow.
Yeah.
I've learned that to lean into the hard and have the courage to do that. For a long time, I avoided that and did not want to face the hard because it's scary. That's how we grow.
Yeah. Natalie, I don't think you recognize it, but I think we just found the title for your book, Lean Into the Hard.
Oh,
I like how I just love how you phrase that. I mean, I think it's perfect.
okay, Steve.
Yeah, there you
Wow.
go. There, boom. Mic drop moment.
You're good at this.
Well, you just have to let me write the intro to your book, okay? Because I'm such a huge fan. So when we finally get to that stage,
And you're
I'll
and
volunteer.
you're someone I will come to for some questions because
All right.
you're so
I'm always
good.
here for you. Yeah, without question. What is so thinking back to 7-year-old Natalie, what did 7-year-old Natalie think she would be when she grew up?
Oh gosh, 7-year-old Natalie. I'm thinking about putting makeup on my cat. My poor cat. I don't know why that image came to me, Steve, honestly, but my
That might be the
sweet.
best answer I've ever gotten.
Um, I I wanted to be in the beauty industry because I grew
Yeah.
up. My mom was in the beauty industry, and I ended up being in the beauty industry, holistically. Like beauty now, I think is a
Yep.
much larger canvas of inner and outer beauty and how much our inner health affects our outer beauty and all that. But I thought, I mean, dressing up, singing Olivia Newton-John, I probably thought I was going to be a rock star. I don't know. I loved Olivia Newton-John. Um,
I had no idea. That's pretty cool.
yeah. So, my little microphone thing, I still can't sing. I don't care. But, just kids. Oh, I love that kids have no lid on their what
Yeah.
they can do. No lid. It sadly typically will happen, through after 7 probably. That's when it starts, I think. So, yeah.
I love that. Well, I have to tell you, the 7-year-old version of me, when you just brought up Olivia Newton-John, I think is hilarious because I asked her to marry me at 7, and she wrote me back.
And she said yes.
She said, "See me when you graduate." Which,
You,
quite honestly,
you
I
did
held
in
her
your
to that.
dream,
I
so you
tried to get
really
a hold
did.
of her at 18 because I was like, I'm ready. Let's go.
Oh, that's
But
hilarious.
yeah, I
That's
have a like a letter from her. I have a couple of autograph pictures,
Are you
and
serious?
yeah, no, at 7 somehow I figured out how to get a hold of her agent and got a hold of
Steve,
they I sent a letter and I got it back like literally, or I got a response back like within 3 weeks.
that's unbelievable.
Yeah, it was kind of crazy, but I left all that stuff in my childhood bedroom, and my dad threw it out because he thought it was junk. Like, are you kidding
Oh,
me? So
no.
anyway, but yeah, that's funny that you and I have that in common in terms of the love of her music and just yeah, pretty crazy.
That's,
Anyway, small deviation there from the questions.
wow.
I have a
Okay.
couple last ones before we wrap up, but you're very big into helping empower women to choose their path and be the creators of their own destiny, right? And you don't necessarily have to go, the way that society thinks you have to go. And I love that about your approach and your message. But if you could give one piece of advice, and we have a lot of, women that tune into this show, that, someone that's out there maybe struggling or trying to come to grips with who they want to be, where they want to go with the rest of their life or their career, what piece of advice would you give them?
Oh, Steve. Take some time. I have become very diligent about my morning practice, my morning time. Um, and I'm even digging into this even more right now. Um, Take time to get to know yourself. And if we'll like slow down enough to listen and hear what we already know inside, we know. And then the next step is taking, movement toward that, which can be scary, very scary. Um, I would say get to know yourself. Get to know yourself.
That's great advice for sure. I love that. I think that'll really resonate with our audience for sure. All right, last two questions. When you hear the word the ripple effect, what does that mean to you? What does it conjure up when you hear it?
Well, anytime I hear that word, I think of you. So you've
Thank you.
done a great job because I can't hear the word ripple and not think of Steve.
Well,
So
thank you.
there's that.
I might need to put that
So
on a billboard. That's perfect.
the first answer would be you. I think of you. Um, it conjures up what this isn't the same. I'm sure you've heard this, Steve. This isn't the exact same analogy, but it does remind me of the same concept, how small of a shift in the ground of the ocean creates a tsunami.
Yeah.
So how small we think it's small. We think we're just going, back to the coffee conversation or back to um, maybe something we say to someone. If we're intentional and we ask ourselves, I don't do this every day, but I try to do it every day. Help me make an impact on whoever I come in contact with today.
Yeah.
And those they do create larger ripples.
Yeah.
Those small things. And I'm guilty of it. We all are. We're human, right? That we get wrapped up in our day-to-day lives and we're functioning on autopilot, doing the things. And, now that I'm at this stage, and that's what I love about this stage of life is I have more time to reflect, to create that higher level of self-awareness to go, what can a small ripple because do. So I love what you've done with that and how you've stuck with it. Talk about persevering. You've stuck with that.
Thank you.
I mean, that messaging, that branding, and look at it through all these years. It is relevant, more relevant today.
Thank you. Well, I mean, you dating all the way back to one of those early conversations we had, you certainly reinstilled confidence in what I was bringing to the table and what I had to say and what I had to share with the world. And that was at a time when you think about these small little things that you do for people, you did that for me because you saw something in me that I didn't see in myself at the time. So the ripple that you created for me way back when, I have never forgotten, and I'm truly, truly grateful for.
Gosh, thank you, Steve. I'm grateful
Yeah,
too.
yeah. We're very lucky to stay in contact all these years, and even though sadly you're no longer in Austin, I'll just have to come visit you up in Oregon sometime. But I
Just don't
really,
come
really
this time of
appreciate
year.
it. Yeah,
Wait till the summer.
yeah. Well, so last question is, what ripple could I be looking to create for you?
Oh, Steve, I know this sounds so ridiculous and simple, but keep doing what you're doing. Like, keep doing what you're doing. I mean, the persistence of us getting on this interview, staying in touch, genuinely staying in touch. Keep doing what you're doing.
Well, I appreciate that. That's a ripple I can definitely do. So no worry. Well, I am so grateful that you took the time. I know you're super busy. I'm glad that we finally made this happen. Just for audience purposes, we tried one time. We had a technology fail, so that was kind of why I was laughing when you said technology. And then we had scheduling conflicts, and I've been sort of in and out of pocket. But I'm grateful that we finally made the time to make this happen, and I couldn't be more proud of you. And I'm so excited that you were on a path. You just see things in people, and I see it in you that you are doing exactly what you're destined to do, and you're in the environment that you were always destined to be in, and that your impact to the world has been significant so far, but I think you're going to make even bigger impacts in the future. And I'm so grateful to have you in my life and to call you a friend, but most importantly, to also be a mentor and just such an inspirational entrepreneur. So keep doing what you're doing.
Thanks, Steve. Thank
Uh,
you. I feel the same way about you, and this has been an
Uh,
honor to do
Thank you
this.
so much. Well, I appreciate it. Guys, we'll be back with another episode of the Ripple Effect podcast. But Natalie, until then, ripple on.
Thanks so much, Steve and
Uh,
everybody. Thank you.